Right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We humbly apologize for being on so late, a matter of fact. A whole 17 minutes late, we sincerely apologize. I mean, time is one of the most valuable resources. But today, we have a very important broadcast to do today concerning a citizen that have been slighted by people, by the law, by the whole story. I hope you guys stay tuned till the end because we are going to divulge information that might shock some of you. And this is the reason why we employ a lot of you to reach out to us. Let your story be heard, a matter of fact. Underneath the weight of mainstream media, your story could get lost away. People didn't want to hear and all them kind of things. So without further ado, before we carry on with the rest of the show, I would like to introduce Miss Candice Edwards here first. And you know she would have made it her thing to say here what's going on. We starting with a word of prayer. So I started one time with Miss Candice Edwards. Miss Candice Edwards, good afternoon.
Hi, pleasant good afternoon to you, Mr. Renison, Mr. Shurland Dyall, and to all our viewers on Facebook, TikTok, and on YouTube as well. Pleasant good afternoon. And welcome to the Justice Advocate Program, where we shine a light on human rights issues and give a voice to the voiceless. I am your host, Candice Edwards. And before we go on with Mr. Shurland Dyall's story, I would like to offer a word of prayer. Because I would have realized, whilst interacting with Mr. Shurland Dyall, there's a lot of obstacles, and sometimes when things seem to be tough, we have to turn to God. So I'm just going to say a short prayer on behalf of the program and on Mr. Shurland Dyall, right? So, Heavenly Father, this afternoon, we thank you for the breath of life. We thank you for being here. I thank you for the platform, the Justice Advocate platform, for myself, Mr. Renison, and the team. We ask that you bless our platform, let it go from strength to strength, and be able to help those who do not have a voice so that they could come on our platform and tell their story and get help. Merciful Father, in the name of Jesus, I lift Mr. Shurland Dyall unto you. Father, Lord, he has been toiling and going through all kinds of obstacles, but we ask in the name of Jesus that every blockage be removed, no weapon that form against him shall continue to prosper, and that you will intervene on his matter in no other name but in Jesus' holy name. So, Mr. Shurland Dyall, welcome to the Justice Advocate Program.
Thank you for having me here.
Right.
Thank you so much for having me.
You would have came to me, you will find me home, right? Because you would have seen my past videos, you would have seen where we would have advocate on behalf of people, right? And you would have reached out to me, right? And I decided to give you a voice, right?
Thank you.
I would have brought you on my personal TikTok page, right? And you would have, tell your story, right? And we had decided now to bring you on YouTube so that you could get a more wider crowd and you will get, your message will go to the relevant authorities, the people who, is responsible in ironing out all of this. And you're asking for, not to just be here to talk, but you want your voice to be heard because you are going through certain, situation that is beyond your control, that is very uncomfortable for you, and it's unfair to you, and that's the reason why you are here. So, Mr. Shurland Dyall, I want you to start from the top. I want you to take your time and explain to the public, to the viewers, what would have taken place with you. But here where I want you to start. I want you to start where you first went to court with your ex in Miaro. Let me take it from there. So explain it.
All right. On September 2012, right? Mm-hmm. My ex-wife, she flew to the country on the 5th of September 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened, I was not on the property when I say that I get put out before. I get put out the 1st of January 2012, right? She put me out of the property. I remained out of the property until sometime in August, the middle of August. She had a man in the house, and all the time when I was outside, the man was in the house. And I ended up getting Mr. Janarin as a lawyer, and I tell him, Mr. Janarin, I'm right now on financial difficulties, and I need a place really to stay. He said, Mr. Dyall, but then you have a home in St. Margaret's Village, Meow. I said, yes. He said, what happened to that property? I said, well, when I come down from the States, my wife ended up putting me out. He said, no. He said, well, listen, if that didn't match your money home, you're welcome to go back to that home. I said, well, I can't go back to that home like that because I don't want any trouble because she have a man in the house. So he said, no. He said, go back, go down on the property and tell the man to vacate the property. And I do so with instructions from Mr. Janarin. I reach out to the man, Eric Lappy, and I told him, I said, listen to me, I'm going to be coming back in my house because it's unfair to me to be outside and you inside my house. Well, in doing so, she ended up calling the station. He called her, Mr. Eric called her, and then she called the station in Miaro. And the officer that answered was a female officer, and she told the officer that Mr. Dyall come on she property, worrying the man that she have on the property, and to call Mr. Dyall and tell Mr. Dyall do not go on she property. So then she hung up the phone. Then the officer called me now. She said, I want to talk to Shurland Dyall. I say, Shurland Dyall speaking.
Mm-hmm.
She said, we got a call from Miss Joan Dyall. Mm-hmm. She said that you come up on the property and telling the man in the property, which is Eric Lappy, that you need to come out of the house.
Uh-huh.
So she called the station for the station to warn me. So then the officer turned and she said, Mr. Dyall, you Shurland Dyall? I said, yes. She said, but she is Joan Dyall. I said, yes. Just like that. She said, well, they're still married. I said, yeah. She said, okay. She said, okay. She's going to call me back. And when she called me back, I'm going to deal with her. Because you can't have a man in the house and calling the station from the States, right, to put out the man which is not supposed to be in the house, right? Anybody supposed to be in the house, it's me and not the man. But I don't know what happened after. Apparently when she called with the officer speech off and tell her, well, that can happen or whatever. And the police come down and the police okay the man.
Okay, so let me ask a question. So that gentleman, who is that gentleman to you and the wife and your ex-wife?
Well, we went to school. I and him really went to school together, right?
Uh-huh.
And what really happened, when I was going away, I said, well, if we had no way, I said he wanted a place to stay at the time. I said, well, okay. Well, if you want a place to stay, you have nobody going to be in the house. So you know what I mean? Occupy the house. I've been fair. I said, occupy the house. So with that there now, said that the man in the house, I didn't know exactly what was them transaction after.
Oh, so it's after you would have get to find out that.
Right. What is taking place now?
Between both of them. Okay.
Between the both of them.
All right.
So with that said and done now, when she come down now, then I'll get now the full story of it now.
So Mr. Dyall, just for the sake of the listening audience, what is that man relation with your wife exactly? What take place with them? What you get to find out?
Well, the way that she put it over in the court in front of the magistrate, right? That she had to be with the man. So that had to be the honor man.
Okay.
Right? Because, okay, well, I'm going to get to that. So with that now, when she come down now, she saw my eviction notice. And she told me she only come for 3 days, which is the 5th of September. Right? I say, well, okay, well, if it's that what it is you want to do, no problem. I called Mr. Janine. I told Mr. Janine, I said, Mr. Janine, I just been served with an eviction letter. He says, it is so? I said, yes. He said, bring it for me. And I take it and I carry it to him. That was the 5th. The 6th, which is the following day, she got an attorney, right? And she gone to the station. And she telling the police now in the station that she have a man now in the house. She want them to move the man from the house, which is me, from my husband, right? Still married, right? So the police say, well, they already had a little inside of the thing because she called already. So the police said, well, we can't move the man like that. You have to go and get the judge, the magistrate from Miaro in Miaro Court. Let she issue that to move the man because you saying you have a man. We don't know who is the man. A man can come in the house just like that. So okay, she leave and she walk out. Christine Anderson was a lawyer at the time. And the court, what Mr. Janet turn and tell me now, that when they walk in the court, was after 12, right? And they summons the magistrate to come out. But Mr. Janine, now good thing, thank God that Mr. Janine was in the court at that time doing some paperwork, right? And when they summons the judge now, he hearing that court is in session. So Mr. Janine said, court is in session, nobody here. And knowing that my ex-wife now, and she lawyer now, coming through the door, telling the judge, the magistrate, that she have a man, same story, in the house, and she want to get the man out of the house. So the magistrate say, your name is Miss Dyall? She said, yes, Joan Dyall. She said, you just come down from the States, you say, because you say come down from the States, and you have 3 days in the country, and you want to move the man before you go back. The magistrate said, no, well, who is the man in the house? We have to know what relationship that you and this man have before we could, apply to get the man out of the house. She hesitated a little bit, Mr. Janine said, and then she said, she ex-husband. So when she said she ex-husband, Mr. Janine now stood up and said, you is Mrs. Dyall? She said, yes. He said, well, here what's going on? You surveyed my eviction notice yesterday? She didn't answer. He pulled out the eviction notice now and show the magistrate. So when the magistrate see the eviction notice now, Mr. Janine turn and tell the magistrate now, listen, we're going to settle that matter tomorrow, right? So the next day, I'm going to come before the magistrate in Miaro Court, and we're going to settle it. She said, okay, or they say, all right. So Mr. Janine called me after he said, Mr. Dyall, thank God I was in the court, because if I was in the court, they'd have get the magistrate to move me out of the house. I said, to God be the glory. Just like that, right? The next day, I leave and I went up before the magistrate in Miaro. When I reached up there, she lawyer was there, my lawyer was there present, Mr. Janine. She put on, when the magistrate said, Dyall, she put up her hand. She said, let us talk. She want to talk. I said, Mr. Janine, I don't want to talk, all right? Because she know fully well that I have money in that property for 28 years. I've been living on that property, all right? So what do you want to talk about? They went outside. When they reached outside, she tell him, Mr. Janine, now, she want to put the man back in the house. Mr. Janine come and tell me now. He say, Mr. Dyall, you know what you want? I say, what you want? He say, he want to put the man back in the house. I say, Mr. Eric Lappe? He said, I don't know the guy name. I said, that is his name, right? He said, well, that is who is the guy. I said, okay. They go back in the court, but I said, that ain't happening. So I leave and going back in the court. Dyall, the magistrate, she put up her hand. We reach agreement. I say, we reach agreement in my mind. Yes, we reach agreement. She want Mr. Lappe to move back, like he telling the magistrate that she want Mr. Lappe to move in the property, in the matrimony house. He will live in the back room, stay in the back room, and Mr. Dyall will continue to stay in the front room. The back room is the matrimony room. That is my bed. Where he are telling him I'm sleeping on my bed. I in the front room now. Okay?
Right, so let me ask you a question, very short, Mr. Public.
Right.
So when you went to court, the judge, what did the judge, what was the ruling the judge make after the judge would have found out that that was the side man and you was the husband and she trying to vacate you from the matrimonial home? And
the judge, the judge turned and tell her, Miss Dyall, don't let a man come on the property. Right? Because I have to stand up now and explain myself to the magistrate now. I don't know that man. Yes, so if he feel that he was my friend, well then he's not my friend. Because this is what's going on here now. Okay, so when the judge heard that, the judge say, Ms. Dyall, do not bring that man on the property. Before
right, so let me ask, so that would have happened before you all went to the family?
Before you went to the family court.
Right, so the magistrate would have made an order for Mr. Eric Lappe to leave the premises.
Right, and not only that, he had a second order right there that same day. She tell the magistrate, she tell the magistrate now that she has some things in the house and she want to move it out. And the magistrate said, no, you cannot move it out because Mr. Dyall is in the house. And I cannot give you the consent to move it out. Right? He said the same room, but you want to put the man in, which is the back room. If you have some things, put it in the back room. Right? But don't move the things out of the house. Well, she come down, she disobeyed the order of the magistrate, and she moved all the things out of the house. Right? And the second order of that is 2023, November month, 2022 and 2023, where I had us to go back to court now, when she come down now, to go to court now, the family court, in Port-of-Spain, because she tell the magistrate one time she's going to file a divorce when she didn't get her way. And the magistrate say, you could do whatever you want to do. Right? And she really filed a divorce in truth. And there, so I end up now in before Ms. Judge, the Honorable Judge Ram Kerry Singh, right? 2012, November, right?
All right, so you would have mentioned to me that when you all went before the judge in family court, right? The judge would have made an order, right? Giving her the house in America. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, right? that is the family court.
Right, the family court gave her the house in America and the house in Mayaro, St. Margaret's Village.
Yes, yes.
In Mayaro, the court would have ordered you wanted.
Yeah, 1/4. 1/4 share of the property.
1/4 share of the property, and the judge would have made an order.
Right.
So let me ask, Mr. Renison, you have a copy of the order to put up on the screen, no?
Yes, I have a copy of the order. I'll put it up on the screen there.
Right. So we just hold on, Mr. Dyall. We want, because you see, when you're relaying your story, you have to show proof to back up your story. We just don't want to sit here and blah, 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 and make it the conversation long and lengthy. When you talk, we want to show the proof.
Order, right.
So we're waiting for Mr. Renison to put up the order on the screen. Right, so that order is where the court, the judge would have given you 1/4. Is 1/4 you said?
Yeah, 1/4 share.
1/4 share.
Right.
And in that 1/4 share, you were to remain there. All right, look at feet up. Right. You were to remain there and live and pay all the bills.
Pay all the bills, pay the light bill, the water bill, and the property tax.
Right.
Right.
And how soon after how soon after they would have come and give you another order?
Right.
If
I get
you
that.
from
I got the other order, which is the fake order. Right. She lawyer sent that for me January 2017. I get that from one of our carrier, right, Miss Hampton carrier. He said he bring it for me because in this order that he bring, that the judge said that if I don't follow the clause or the threatening language, right, they could put me to jail. And he want me to sign certain document. I said I'm not signing no document.
But
then I told him,
stick up in there. Before that, you would have mentioned when it was in the court, right?
Right.
The judge realized the lawyer, something with the lawyer, and the judge would have ordered the lawyer to pay back some of your money.
Okay, well, right. When the last hearing, the last sitting of me with the Honorable Judge Ram Kerry Singh, right? Miss Commoner come in the court and she tell Miss Kerry Singh that she no longer going to be representing me because Josan, which was my lawyer, which is her daughter at the time, said that she wanted to do a valuation. And she said that I was reluctant to do the valuation. So she come now to represent her daughter, right? Telling the judge now that she's going to move herself, she and the daughter, off the case. And she decided to walk out. And
So
the judge,
what is the reason she decided to walk off? Just
because they did not get the valuation.
Okay. I just want to clear that up.
Right?
So because they didn't get the valuation.
They did not get evaluation because I tell Josan after when she asked for the evaluation, it was too premature, right? Because my wife had already asked for a trial.
Yeah.
Okay. So at this stage now, what you asking for the evaluation are so early for, right? She said, "Oh, the judge." I said, "The judge did not ask for it. You're supposed to defend me because it have two houses in the marriage, right? One in the States, one down here." I tell her that. It's only fair that you just say, "Look, listen, after so much years, this, your husband decide, well, he had to get somewhere to live or whatever, blah, blah, and finish it off. But here you come and you ask for a valuation." So I did not do the valuation, okay? And when our mother come in, Miss Commoner, Janice Commoner, come in now. She telling the judge now that she walking off, she leaving the case, and the judge stop her. So in other words, in the eyes of the judge, because they didn't get the valuation, you intend now to walk off the case. In other words, she has seen nothing in that because she knows it have two houses in the marriage.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Ms. Commoner, how much money Mr. Dyall paid you? She said right about now $18,000. The judge, Ms. Ram Kerry Singh, told Ms. Commoner, give back Mr. Dyall some money so that he could get an ex-lawyer and come to court. He said, "Yes, my worship."
All right, so let me ask, did you get back any sum of money at all?
No money.
And how long ago? Let me ask, how long ago was that?
That was sometime February 2015, right before the trial come up, right? Right before the order come up, right?
Right.
Court was still in session.
Okay.
Right.
Nice. So you never got back your money?
Never got back my money. I made numerous calls to her. She never respond. She never tell me nothing.
Right.
Right.
And then the court made the order now. So you have a copy of the order. We put the order up on the screen there for the public to see. Right.
Right.
And then the other party, which is your ex-wife and her lawyers, came with, as you say, this other order, evicting you from the premises. Not so?
Well, right. That is after because the trial come up.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to say this before. When she walk out now, the Honorable Judge Kerry Singh turned and say, Mr. Dyall, you know, they had a valuation to do. I say, my worship, due respect, I'm not doing no valuation. Right? I said, she said, you know who was supposed to do the valuation? I said, I don't know. Then she told me, Roy, I said, my worship, I ain't doing no valuation. Quite like that. She said, okay, Mr. Dyall. She said, I'm going to set 2 hearings for you. The first hearing is for you to come back when you get the money from Ms. Commoner to come back. And the next one, you're going to be going into trial. But do not come to court without a lawyer, because now we're going to something deep, you know. So you have to get proper representation. And I wasn't aware that I could have go back to court without even the lawyer at the time, because I never been into court like that to say, well, you know. So then I didn't go. The trial come up, and there Ms. Judge Kerry Singh make the order. Right, 2015, right, September 2015, 2015, right? And I just remember like that on October month, same 2015, November month 2015, I apply now to the court to see now if an order has made. And that's how I get that order on the screen that's showing up right now.
Okay.
Right? So there's a copy of the original order. So the fake order now is where they tamper with the court order, right? Threaten me. Because when the guy come to me, I tell him, I say, well, I have an order.
Mr. Dyall,
and tell me you have an order?
Mr.
Yes.
Dyall, just to make the distinction very clear, which one on the screen there is the fake order? The one with the stamp?
The one with the stamp was saying January. What date it is, boy? Let me see, I'll get it. Let me see, I'll get it here for you. January 12th, 2017.
That one is the fake order.
That is the fake order. Right? If you look on page 3, you're going to see the threatening language on page 3 of the order.
All right, so here you would have said that you had a copy of the original order. You had other stuff in the house. And
right.
What would have happened to the stuff?
Right, they're not breaking the house down, because when they get to realize now, when the guy bring the order for me, right, the fake order, and I turn and tell him now, I say, but my order don't have this language inside. Then he realized now that I already applied for order. So then he said, give it. I said, no, I'm not going to give it to you back. And then when they realized now that I had the original order, that order, they come and they break the house now, and they take the original order. As from today, although I try to apply back to get back the original order, they never give it to me.
So let me ask a question now. So the fake order now, did you go back to the court to find out where that other order came from?
No, I didn't go back. I didn't go back to the court, because I know that my order, that what I saw, did not have that language. But I applied for it. That's what I'm saying. I applied for the original order because there's a copy. Right? I apply now to get back the original order. But no matter how I apply for it, they never give it to me. So I end up now with just a copy of the original order.
Okay.
Right? So because they know fully well that no judge don't threaten nobody. Right? No judge don't threaten nobody, no language like that. Right. But they do that now, in other words, to get the 1/4 share. My wife wanted the 1/4 share. She wanted me to sell the 1/4 share. So they use that tactics now.
Yeah.
Right? To get me now to side with them to sell the 1/4 share.
All right. So you would have mentioned to me, and you sent me a copy of a check for
right.
100 and I think it's $15,000 or $10,000.
$115,750.
Mr. Ranson, you have that then? Hold on. I want to see if you have it so you can put it up on the screen.
Yes, we have it. We have it here. I'll put it up on the screen in a while.
All right. So when you got that check, right? You got it in the mail.
No, a marshal. A
Okay.
marshal, a marshal bring that check October 9th, 2020. Around 2:35, around 2:30, somewhere around there, he bring that check for me. And telling me that he bring this check for me. And under Ram Kerry Singh, the judge Ram Kerry Singh, right, that I have to receive this check. And in the court order, it have a language in the court order where the Honorable Judge Ram Kerry Singh use. If I take any money or I take anything from them, right, if I sell me 1/4 share, I wouldn't get, I have 1 month to stay on the property, right? After that, you got to vacate the property. So when they bring, right.
So you,
So when
you
they
mentioned that when you got the check,
right, when they
you
get the
went back
check,
and you returned the check.
right, when I get the check the Friday,
Mm-hmm.
October 9th, the Monday morning, I walk to the bank in Miaro and tell them, I said, this check here, I return in this check. I said, I don't know these people and them, and I want to return the check. The teller watch me there, so and she tell me, no, she went on the computer and she come back and she tell me, they're taking the check. I said, it's a Republic check, right? I said, I didn't find it. I said, Marshall, bring it for me, right? Which is Friday. And I return it at the back here Monday. She said she don't want the check.
Right.
I
So
said,
then
okay.
what did you do with the check?
Well, I take the check and I went to the post office. Same time, you're going to see the receipt there. And I post back the check where it comes from.
Right. So viewers, you see on the screen the check that the marshal would have given to Mr. Dyall by hand with the sum of money on it, right? And Mr. Dyall is stating that happened the Friday, he said, right?
Friday,
Right.
October 9th.
And on the Monday, he went back to the bank to return the check. The bank refused to take back the check. So he mailed back the check to the relevant people who would have brought the check for him. So on the screen there, you're seeing where a receipt stating that the check was sent back. Not so?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Good. So let's go on from there now.
Right. So when I sent back the check, I would say November 20th. I think that was a Saturday, November 20th, 2021. A guy approached me with some papers. He said he come from the court. I said, he's a marshal. He said, yes, he's a marshal. I said, okay, but it was me now, and somebody else was in my presence. So both of us was in my gallery at the time. So he said he want to talk to Shurland Dyall. I said, I am Shurland Dyall. He said, could he come in? I said, yes, come in. If he's a marshal, you bring an order for me to come to court or whatever Dyall said, say yes. I said, come in. He said, you Shurland Dyall because he told you. I said, yes, I Shurland Dyall. He said, well, the court does want ID as proof to know that, they dialogue with me. I said, I have no problem. I said, you want some ID? He said, identification? He said, yes. I went inside and got my driver's license and I give it to him. When I give it to him, I see started sign and write and write. I asked him, I say, all they ask is, so I proof for ID? What are you writing? You're writing like a madman, so. I said, where you come from? He said, family court. I said, this is Saturday, you know. I said, if you're the marshal, it's Monday to Friday, unless you have a holiday or whatever, you can't. Well, when I tell him that no, he say he didn't come from the court. I said, well, where you come from? He's a bailiff. I said, bailiff? I said, okay, sir. He don't write up the papers and he sign the papers and he go on. I take it and I just show it on the table right there and I leave it right there. I did 20th of November, 2021. The matter in the court is the 26th of November. That's a Friday. So I watch it. When the guy don't talk, he don't talk. I come inside out of the court, right? I say, okay, but I say, but the judge already make an order, right? How come I getting this now? After all these years. I ain't seen nothing Saturday, I leave it there. The Wednesday, I decided to call the court to confirm this. When I call the court, the guy who answered, he said, I say, I have a case matter here before you coming up Friday, which is the 26th, right, 2021, November. He said, Mr. Dyall, we're going to check it. When you check it, you run it, you run it. He said, this is not in the court. I said, yeah, sure. He said, yes. He said, when was the last time? You know, he's checking my brain now. He said, when was the last time he was in the court? I said, the last time I was in the court was 2015. You remember Judge make an order 2015, September, right? So he see it, he had to see it. He said, well, this matter, what you asking for here at this present time is not in the court. He said, who served you this matter? I said, I'm Marshall. He said, I'm Marshall.
You didn't get the marshal's name?
No, I didn't get the marshal name. The marshal just drop it and he signed where he had to sign and he take off like a bullet.
So he did not introduce himself to you at all?
When he come, remember he say he's a marshal. But when I tell him now marshal does not work on a Saturday, then he come and he say no, he's a bailiff.
So he didn't introduce himself by saying his name is Mr. John or Mr.
No, he never introduced himself.
So then that order with nowhere to be found in the court.
Nowhere to be found. Because the clerk in the court asked him, you sure it's not no other case, no small court? I say, I don't have nothing in no small court. I said, the last time I was in the court is on Mr. Judge Ram Kerry Singh. Right? He said, well, this is not in the court. I said, okay.
Yeah, but I find that to be strange because everything they do in the court, they have, everything that be on file on the system. And how come that order not in the court?
Not in the court, right? I say, okay, fine. If it's not in the court, well, I'm going to go to a lawyer and see what happening. I went to a lawyer in Grandy. When I went to the lawyer Grandy, he said, well, you're going to run it and see. You do something on the computer, you never tell me nothing. And he tell me, I'll check him back next 2 weeks or whatever. I say, all right. At the same time, when he tell me check him back, I just call for Mr. Holder. So at the time when I talking to him now, Mr. Holder called me, and the next lawyer in Grandy. So Mr. Holder said, where you at? I say, well, I didn't want to tell him I'm in a lawyer office. I said in Grandy. He said, check me in the office. When I come by Mr. Holder now, I tell him Mr. Holder now the situation. Holder said, no, it just have to be in the court. I show him the same document and Holder call. When Holder call, he's not in the court. I say, okay, no problem. I leave it alone. He said, you know what, Mr. Dyall, you'll give them a little 2 weeks after I'll check me back. I said, all right. I leave and I gone. And that was that matter there. I end up with a lawyer again in Mafikil. When I end up with the lawyer now, I said, let me check my business again. I said, come to check this. That was the 23rd of November, 2021, by this next lawyer in Mafikil. She was with us, so I say, yeah, I just want to get feedback on this now. Because I know Mr. Holder called and he didn't get no feedback. She said, sit outside for a minute. And I leave the documents inside and I come outside. When she go call me back inside and tell me, yes, I have court. I say, I have court? She said, yeah. I said, which day I have court? She said, the same 26. I said, Friday come in? She said, yeah. But she know I don't talk to Mr. Holder already. Right? So, with that matter then now said and done, I pull the page now and I say, okay, if I have court, where the link? Show me the link on the document. She said, well, here what happened. Your lawyer going to be me, I'm going to represent you. And the other lawyer, whoever, even Joe lawyer, whatever, they go set up the matter and they go speak to me virtual. I say, that's so. She tell me, I say, okay. I pay her $300 and I walk out. And that was me and them.
So she said that you would have a court matter on the 26th.
Yeah.
That's what you said. And
Yeah.
what happened to that matter?
Well, that matter never come up. That matter was never in the court.
All right, so you would have mentioned to me that since after all this whole ordeal, you've been going to lawyers, you're stating your complaint, you would have showed them the 2 orders, and nobody seems to want to take the case.
Nobody don't want to take the case. I went to numerous lawyers, right, spending money all of them just taking consultation, and because what happened to that now, I come back and I went back to Mr. Holder after, because I'm checking back in 2 weeks' time. So I went back to him now. I said, Mr. Holder, did you get anything from the court? He said, let me make a run and check again. We said, go to check. We got 2 weeks gone because thing. So when he called the court, it was in the court. He picked up his phone now. Mr. Holder picked up his phone now. And he called, he said, let me speak to the judge, the Honorable Judge Ram Kerry Singh. And the reception turned and tell him, hold on a minute. And while he hold on the line there now, the judge come on. But she come on by text. And she asked him, what is the problem? I turn and tell her, he said, you have Mr. Dyall in front of him here, right? You have a court matter on the 26th of November, right? 2021, same year.
Mm-hmm.
The Honorable Judge text him and tell him, I already make an order. Tell Mr. Dyall, I already make an order for that property in Miaro. I want to know what it is taking place.
So that is what, just wait. That is when Mr. Holder would have called and speak to Ms. Kerry Singh, Judge Kerry Singh.
Yeah, the Honorable Judge Kerry Singh.
Right. So that is what she would have said to the lawyer.
Mr. Holder, Jerry Holder.
Okay. And since then, nothing. So have you been trying to go back to the court to see if you could, get a hearing with the same order?
Right.
Uh-huh.
Hold on, the phone ringing here.
Press decline. Decline the call.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So with that now, I think Mr. Holder went on vacation soon after, because the last thing he told me, he said, well, you cannot be, you could do it on a flash drive. I said, Mr. Holder, we could do it on a flash drive. Right? I say, we want hard copy. And from that, well, I never get up Mr. Holder again. I never get in contact with him. And that was the matter. That matter that's gone like that until I end up now. Until I end up now with this matter here again. Right? What I find in my mailbox. Right? I get that the 12th of June in my mailbox. The last court order now, where they say I suppose to leave the premises. I find it in my mailbox. I went up here, I make a report on it. I carry my original order, the copy of the original order, and I carry that order. And the officer said and tell me, say, Mr. Dyall, this can be right. He said, because the statute of limitation for your matter already gone. Right? So how Mr. Ashton Gomez, who say no, he's the petitioner, and your court order saying that your wife is the petitioner, how he could come in front of the Honorable Judge Kerry Singh, he said, this is right. I think he make a report, and I leave and I come down, and that was it until September 2023, September 1st, 2023, when three police officer come on the property and they said they come to take charge of the property. I said, I have a valid court order.
So when they came, did you show them a copy of your court order?
Yes.
And
I showed them.
what did they say when they saw it?
They said that my court order overturned. My court order overturned by the Honorable Judge Ram Kerry Singh. And this is where they come to do to take charge the property.
So then, the judge would have made an order overturning the order that she gave you in your absence?
Well, what they're saying on the last order, what they come with, they're saying that it had three calling. Mr. Ashland said that he reached the judge 3 calling, and I didn't attend any. So that gave the judge the right to vacate me now off of the premises. I don't know nothing but no 3 calling. Right? And that's what the order have on it. Right? And with that, well, but what was ironic there, the same marshal who bring the check October 9th, he was one of the leading man out of the 3 of them, right, taking charge of the operation with the police, and he bring all the men and things to put me thing on the side of the road. Until one time he asked me, what happened to the check? What happened to the check that I bring for you? And I tell him, I say, you're kind of, but anyhow, I leave him. I say, you bring a check for me October 9th, 2020. This is 2023, right? The 1st of September. You come to evict me and ask me for a check. I didn't tell him I made it back. I said, well, whenever you find it, let me know. And on top of that, or you come to evict me out of my property and leave some of my things in the house and telling me I can't touch my things. Just come with the house. Just come with the order. I say, you're crazy or something? I say, well, if you come to evict a man, I say, where the eviction notice? I say, you have a eviction, are you supposed to serve me an eviction notice, right? Before telling me that I have a certain amount of time on the premises before you could come to they had nothing like that. It's just the same order you have in your hand there. That's what they evict me with. And that, it was the end of that. I was out of the house. Some of my things remain in the house, right? Some of my important things, they leave it in the house. And I couldn't get it. The only thing I get after from in that house was the 27th of October was my cable box, right? That's the only thing I get after. I had also called the police on the 27th of October to come down to get Mr. Ashton to open the house so I could get my cable box, because remember, they moved me out. So my cable box remained there, right? Mr. Ashton come and he opened the house. And so I get my cable box. And
right,
that
so
order.
What do you want out of all of this? Because
well, I only want my story to be heard before the honorable Judge Kerry Singh, so that she could have a clear idea of what really take place, right? Because really and truly, if she asks to do a deposition, I willing to do the deposition. But no, to allow her to come back, because what they're doing now, they're going behind my back now and they're talking to Ms. Hampton. And Ms. Hampton now instructing them now what to do. Ms. Hampton now is the queen of Bacchanal. Because I realize now it's she they're talking to. Right? So in other words, now the false order that they bring, she don't want me to go back in court because she realized I have that as evidence.
So they don't know that you have a copy, you still have a copy.
They don't know. They don't know. They don't know that I have that, because that is one thing.
Well, today, sir, they know now. They know that you have a copy. So the only thing now is try and get back in front of the judge.
Right.
And state your claim.
Right.
and see where it goes from there, you know,
Yeah, but not only that, right? When they evict me out of the house, right?
Mhm.
On the 19th of September, I set up an appointment with Ben, right? That's Prakash attorney, one of Prakash attorney. So he tell me send him the information and everything. We're going to see what's going on. So I send him the information. He get the information 2 weeks, and he set up the appointment for the 19th of September. But now, the Monday now, the 19th I think was a Wednesday. The Monday now, I leave and I went in the station now to find out now if the marshal and them signing in the book in the station.
Mhm.
When I meet there now, I meet a corporal and the corporal started to get on kind of radical. You know, like I shouldn't ask that question. So then the female officer turned and watch him and away and she whispered out to me. She said, Mr. Dyall, partly. She said, you know the court in Princeton? I said, which court in Princeton? She said, you have a court in Princeton, the family court in Princeton. Go there and you're going to know if that court or that what they give you, if it is good. She whispered to me, I said, thank you very much. I was the Monday, the Wednesday, which is the 19th, so that it had to be the 17th. The 19th now, I know that I'm going by then. Right? So I had to pass Princeton because I live in Miaro. So I had to pass Princeton. So I dropped in Princeton now. I'm going in the court. I said, good morning. I said, good morning. I said, I need this, I get this letter here in my mailbox, and they come and evict me. I say September 1st. The young lady watch it. She said, they evict you? I say, yes. I said, I want to know if this is in all the court, because the police say that this, if it comes from the High Court, then all they'll have an order of it in the court here. She said, yeah, but she gone now. And she typed the computer. She can't see it. She come back to me now. She said, Mr. Dyall, you see which part I get this? I said in my mailbox, the 12th of June. He said, well, if they evict you with Marshall and all kind of thing, and Marshall supposed to survey this? I said, well, this is what happened. This is what's going on. She went and get his supervisor now. The supervisor come. She said, Mr. Dyall, you get this in the mailbox? I say, yeah. She said, sit down. She said, you're going nowhere, sit down. I'm going to run this here for you. I sit down there for half an hour. And she come back and she said, this is not in the court. Right? If the honorable judge make this, in other words, well, go back to the family court in Port of Spain. But right about now, this is showing up. I say, okay.
So did you go back to the family court in Port of Spain with the order?
Well, that time they're doing virtual court. Is somebody on the live?
Carry on.
Yeah, right? So then I leave now because I'm not going to meet Ben. So I leave now and I go by Ben now. When I meet Ben now, I say, Ben, tell me something about my court order here and tell me something about this here. You run this in the court? He said, I'm going to watch me. He said, Mr. Dyall, I don't want to say not too much, you know. I said, no. I said $1,500 you charge me, you know. I said, and if this in the court, I need to go back to court. Right? So what is the outcome of this? She said, Mr. Dyall, this is a problem here, you know. He said, this is a big problem. He said, let me tell you something about your court order. He said, it's still valid. I said,
and who is the person that would have told you that your court order is still valid?
Ben, the lawyer for for Prakash,
All right.
right? You see, your court order still valid,
Mr.
right? But
Mr. Dyall, who Prakash? Prakash who? Prakash Ramada, who Prakash?
yeah, Prakash Shamada,
Right,
Prakash Shamada, right? Because after I talked, I called Prakash Shamada after
all right.
I had a talk with him, right?
Mhm.
So when he tell me in my court order still valid, I say thank you very much, and I leave and I walk out and I come up to you. I spoke to Mr. Prakash. I think the middle of 2024, I called Mr. Prakash. And when I explained to him what happened, he said, Mr. Dyall, he said, this cannot happen. He said, because the statute of limitation, where Mr. Ashton come in and say no, he is the petitioner. That cannot happen. Something went wrong. Yeah. But is there anything you could try to look into it and see what happened? I said, thank you very much. Right? And that was it. I went to Twitter lawyers again, trying to get them to open back the matter because if this was in the court or whatever, I could afford to appeal it. That is my rights to try to appeal it. But soon as it's not in the court now, everybody know what's going on. Right? Everybody know what it is going on. So no, nobody don't want to bring me now in front of the Honorable Judge Ram Kerry Singh. Right?
Well,
and no,
you have to try and make your way back in front of that same judge, because if you go into this lawyer and that lawyer and everybody putting you wrong in circles, it must have some way where there's a will.
There's a way.
There's a will.
Right.
It must be some way to reach back in front of that judge.
Right.
Because here it is, you have a court order from the judge, the one who made the first order. Then this other order come out from nowhere. They could find your order in the court from the judge, but they can't find the other order.
They can't find it.
So then something is definitely wrong.
Exactly so. Right? Because number one, like the lawyer Prakash, Mr. Prakash say, well, yes, he could be power of attorney, but coming and telling the judge that he is the petitioner. So you're married to his sister, and you're married to he too. So how that happening?
Well, something is definitely wrong there, Mr. Dyall, and I really do hope that this program reach in front of the right eyes and the right person, and they would reach out to you and iron out this whole thing, because something isn't right.
But Candice, what I would have seen there taking place explicitly is corruption to the highest order. Because look, he talking about a marshal, right? He talk about fake orders. He talk about a check in which he would have sent back through TT Post. You see, the thing about it is this. There are certain people that use clever tactics to try to get what they want through the court system. So you talk about this man went into a police station. He went through the books. He went in the court. He would have proven that the act was false. Now, that is to show the type of distance that certain people go to take what is not theirs. And this is not only a case to just for the gentleman there to go back to the court. He need to, this is a fraud squad. And he would have labeled people that is within the ambits of the law. He said people identify themselves to be marshals. People, I mean, when they went to throw him out, he talked about it had police there. And this is what's going on here. I mean, if you see 10 police show up by your place and the next man identify himself to be a marshal, and you show court document, this wasn't just bullying, you know. Them would have went to the depths to even prove, I mean, to even show the guy there that, hey, look, we have documents. They went to the heights to forge authentic documents. This thing, it real bizarre, because if The man would have talk about Prakash Ramada. He was the man that deal with the divers. I'm hearing some static. I don't know what is that. Yes, I hear some uncontrollable static. That's a right. So that should clear up there. Now you hear about Prakash Ramada, a matter of fact, that would have talk about. I mean, he's a lawyer that known for his credential. You hear about him, he would have said, "Hey, you could go back in the house." So then, what causing this man to be outside? That is the thing.
Right.
What Judge
Right.
Kerry Singh had to say.
Right. And what caused me not to be outside of the property now is because they have good influence in the police station in Miao, right? Right. So two lawyers turn and tell me, Mr. Dyall, you could walk back, or you could walk back on the property because the court order still stands as today, it's valid, right? But no any threats because they have a certain individual in the station threat me already. So now I study now. If I go to walk back on the property now, they're going to call a boy.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
2 to 1, they could say, well, something, plant a gun, shoot you, plant a gun.
Yeah, but
and that's the end of you.
Mr. Dyall, who threatened you? You see, is a civilian that was in the police station that threatened you? Or it was
No,
somebody in police uniform?
No, it's a police, it's a corporal they have in the station. A fellow they call Douglas. He's a big influencer in the Miao police station. I filed a complaint on him already. Right? Because it had an incident. I'm going to talk about this incident now. It had an incident on the 8th of August, 2022. Right? Where I picked some coconut on the same premises on that I own. But every time I pick the coconut, Mr. Ashton and his brother always confronted me and telling me, no, I don't have no land, I don't have no rights, I don't have nothing. So I end up now, Mr. Ashton, when I pick the coconut van there, he take out the phone and he film it. I say, Mr. Ashton, call the police. Because he say, no, I can't pick nothing, I can't, because if I thief in your coconut, what you supposed to not call the police?
Yeah.
He say he not calling the police, he filming. So I said, okay, I go to get my phone now to call the police. So when I go on inside now, when I look back now, I could see the younger brother now, Mr. Ashford now, pick up the coconut and go in with it. So all I grab now is a little piece of wood. And I hit him some wood. I tell the officer that. I said, hit him some wood. I said, you cannot go the evidence. I said, tell your brother, he have his phone. The time he take the film, call the police. Right? He didn't do that. I said, okay. That time now, I went and I paid, and I head up in the station. When I reach in the station now, I hear the calling from Mr. Douglas, Mr. Ashton Gomez, calling now for the officer, Mr. Douglas. So the officer that I meet to make the report, I said, look, I had a little confrontation just now there with Mr. Ashton and his brother, which is Ashford Gomez. She said, she know me. She said, Shurland, I hope you break the bone. I said, no, I just, just hit him a few lash to put on the evidence, right? Then I hear the officer saying, they're looking for Douglas. So I stand up. She said, Mr. Dyall, wait a minute. Douglas is a senior man to them. Douglas nowhere to be found. So then the officer turned and tell me now. She said, Mr. Dyall, we can't do nothing. I said, come to make a report. She said, no, we can't do nothing. Because Douglas is a senior man to them, but he's not on duty. You see what happened here? He's not on duty. So they could have killed me many times on that property on Mr. Douglas' strength. And I meet Mr. Douglas one time threatening me. When I go to make report now, doing the thing now when Douglas now is on duty.
So they're
So
not
I
taking
could have,
they're not taking your reports when you go to make reports in the station?
yeah, when I go to make my report now, Mr. Douglas telling the officers on them, officers, I tell you already, ignore Mr. Dyall.
So let me ask you, you would have heard him say so yourself.
Yes, I heard him,
Okay.
and here he turn and tell me. Here he turn and tell me. He say he have 25 years experience in the force, and he licensed to carry a firearm. You understand? Eh? When he said that, the other officers watch him. And I leave and I come down. Listen, eh? I leave and I come down from the station. 3 days after I gone up me out, I meet one of the officer. He blow me, hit me the horn. He said, Mr. Dyall, he said, that's coming to the station the wrong time. I said, but I didn't catch it. Eh? He said, we want to hold them because you have a court order. But this man here, Douglas, stopping them from acting. He said, that's coming to the station in the wrong time. You know how much report I have on that Douglas? They are telling you.
My God.
So Douglas now, Douglas is a big hindrance. You hear what I tell you to the court of Trinidad and Tobago.
And let me add to that to justice too as well. Not
The
just to the
justice.
court, to justice.
Right? When the police and them, okay, you get lash. And I come up in the station as a law-abiding citizen to make my case. You calling for Douglas? And the officer then couldn't make the case. That same day, the brother Ashford threatened me with a gun. Nobody can do nothing because of Mr. Douglas.
Wow. So at the end of it all, the question still remains, how do you go forward from here?
Well, hear what I want to say. Hear what I want to say. I want to make it open here right now.
Okay.
Now the court order is still valid.
Mm-hmm.
And I plead into the honorable judge to please to hear my case, to hear my story. I would like to come back before the court, right? Because right now I out of my house. I have nowhere to go, right? As a law-abiding citizen. And I believe everybody has a right to be heard, right? And this is all I'm asking because I went to several lawyers to try to get back in the court because they asked for a deposition. I did not get to do the deposition because of, you know, the false order and other things. Because if I show you the amount of people I have here is unbelievable. You really believe that I have a case for 20 years. You hear what I'm telling you?
And let me ask another thing. Let me ask another question. Remember last week. So have you ever made any attempt to go back to the lawyer that you have to retrieve some of your money?
No, because I mean, when I tell certain lawyers that I could get back some money, they turn and tell me she's a reputable lawyer.
So
in other words, they're not going to write it. Huh?
So they cannot do that because
no, they can't do that. So she's up there. So I said, okay, I'll put it this way. I said, when I didn't follow the instruction to do the evaluation, she walked in the court, discredit me. But when the judge gave her an order of her own, she didn't follow it. So who the orders really belong to? The small man on the street.
Wow.
Right? Then on top of that, I always say now, if Josan come here, they tell the honorable judge of the problem in Miaro, I would not be in this situation today. They hold many evidence from the judge. And when lawyers withhold evidence from a judge, you force the judge hand. Because they couldn't produce a job letter for me. They couldn't produce nothing. You come in the court and say, I ain't worked for 6 years, it's 28 years. So what are you telling the judge? What happened to the balance of 22 years? They was eating ham and jam. And the judge said and tell her that is unacceptable because 6 years out of 28 years, you filing a divorce. She tell her that. And that same judge had discipline her that same day in the court.
Discipline who?
Because she didn't discipline John.
Okay.
Because when the judge trying to tell her, look, listen, it's 28 years of marriage you have. You're trying to throw away that? Your man want to get that. She started wiggling and she started whining, and the judge Kerry Singh, Ram Kerry Singh, tell her, she say, contain, Miss Dyall, contain yourself. This is the High Court. Contain yourself. And she called her lawyer, Hampton. She said, Hampton, you flaying your client one time. And the judge said, next court day.
Well,
Next court day.
I really do hope. I don't know. This is, I listened to the story already and I listened to it again, and I ain't lying. It flustered in my brain. It making me, I don't feel like this is my situation, and like I stifling in a dark hole and I'm trying to come out and like I can't come out. You understand? So actually, now that you clear up some things, when we're hearing it over and over, everything's starting to come together. I really do hope that you get the help that you need and you deserve until we're back in front of that judge. And let that judge clear up.
I want to say something before I close the matter here. Miss Joan Gomez, Mr. Hassan Gomez, they had an uncle doing that for years, taking away people's land and horse Walter Gomez. He used to come doing the same thing, come with court papers in Miaro and turn people with police and marshal and everything. So it's an inside connection. They know the ropes in and out. And if you ask anybody in Miaro, who is Walter Gomez, they're going to tell you, well, he died now. So that's said and done. That is a whole big organization.
So the uncle or the father dead, so then the nephew or the son take over?
Yeah, he come now and he take it over.
Okay.
You understand? From Wassa, Tiantec, everybody that I go to, they know how to cover their tracks. You know what I'm telling you?
Okay.
So that organization is a whole set of lawyers eating a food underneath. That's why they don't want you to go back to court.
Yeah, but you have to find a way to go back. If you have
I have to find a way. I have to find a way by the grace of God, because it's unfair. I tried to take him. I go so far to try to take him to the court in Princestown. Twice. They turned me down. I'm a law-abiding citizen. If you could take me to court, so why I can't take you to court? This is the civil court in Princestown, the same civil court. I tried to put the man in the court. They're telling me now, go back to Judge Kerry Singh, the Honorable Judge Kerry Singh. So I can put the man in the court. Right about now, the police there have investigated the man. They have called the man to find out where you get this document from, how your name is on this, whatever. They keep it hush.
You see,
hush.
Mr. Dyall, what you're indicating there is a very dangerous situation, because we are seeing the reason why we decided really and truly was to broadcast this matter is for the listening public to see how complex and the distance in which these arms are law. You're talking about the collusion between the police, a marshal at the court, lawyers, and civilians coming together, and you could see this thing is about money. This is a money thing. I mean, somebody have the money to pay, and apparently they are using this mechanism as to control the arms of the law.
Thank you.
This thing is from what you are saying here to me, this thing real out of hand with the court is concerned, because just some few years back, I would remember the whole scandal with Andrea Barrett, and everybody ruled out that she would have think that is conspiracy theory. But when she would have bust a racket that would have been taking place within the court with deed and all them kind of thing, people rule out that. Now this is a living live testimony, I could say, in which you are talking about things that is still currently taking place. Now the only thing that I am seeing here is that this matter needs to go to the front, and then to you ask yourself how long they go take. And this is what they do. This is what they just do. You see, there is advantage procedural advantage. So they will take a certain amount of time and then you still outside. And this is the story in which the citizens does be facing on a yearly, on a daily basis when they are hoping to get justice from the court system. This it real bad, but again, I did want to interrupt you. What else you have to say, because we approaching, the limitations of the time, a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Well, the when I went to the station to report the matter, it was so thing that when I tell him October 9th, 2023, I said I come to report this matter here. I would like you to call the court in Port of Spain to see if this in the court. The officer downstairs in Gandhi watched the paper. He watched the paper. He turned it upside down. He said, Mr. Dyall, they break out of the house. I say, yeah. He said, this paper looking good, I said, well, I need you to call the court in town. He kind of hesitant, When I tell him now, I went to the judiciary court in Princeton and he couldn't find it. That he get no, he got convinced of that now. He said, you went there? I say, yeah. He said, they didn't have it. He said, give me the court number for the Spain. When he made the call, and he realized now, there's nothing in court. He watched me. He said, sit down there for 10, 15 minutes. I sit down there. He called back. He gave his name, his ranks. He said, all the finest from me in the court. He said, giving all you know, 2 hours. Tell me what happened. Tell me what happened within that 2 hours. They got 2 hours and a half and they couldn't find it in the court. He called Campbell now and tell Campbell, make the case as fraud. He said, I've never seen that yet. When you watch the document, legit.
And
A
after
few
that,
errors,
nothing came out of it.
nothing. Campbell and the superior trying to sweep it. Campbell tell me don't get no lawyer. She said don't get no lawyer involved. The police involved. I said, well, who to get involved? She make a statement from here to Audi Road. Sign. I said, I can't get. I said, well, I can read and read it for me. She watched me and she grinning. I said, no, read it for me. Up to now, nothing. Nothing. But they know that notes of evidence is nothing in court.
So,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Minister, in a situation like this, boy, what you would suggest?
No, this is simple, This have to go by fraud, Scott Candice. This is not no jokey thing here, because I mean a lot of it. You see the magnitude of what Mr. Dyall would have just said. I mean, sitting down and explaining this to a lawyer or an ex-lawyer. I mean, Trinidad is a small place. What has happened is that people just get in contact with people and say, look, this man, and you set up this man, because it happened with gangsters. Hey, look, that man coming there. He coming this time. This is what taking place here. You see, Mr. Dyall could go back into the house, but the life, I mean, what about the safety of his life? And he talk about the police. The police must have friends with his police. Waiting going to happen. Waiting going to happen. This is a matter needs to be settled. It reached a point that it forced him now to have to sell. Yes, and I hope it go through the right means for his, to save his life, a matter of fact. Because if they could have done send $100 and some $1,000 without probably a proper evaluation that would have been done, or even he was not present, a matter of fact, when the evaluation was done, or he was just offered some and that is the end of that. Something wrong here. The justice system is dangerous in this country. Till it frightened me. I mean, again, goosebumps. But at the same time, Candice, I mean, as I say, we're coming up to the limitations of the show. We might have to get Mr. Dyall here again, I mean, to go into a little more depth concerning this, because I don't feel that this should be the first go at this story. I mean, there is a broadcast that we have carried again for this afternoon, and that was the person who would have just who would have joined us on the live.
Okay.
So
Well,
again, go ahead, Candace.
well, Mr. Dyall, as Mr. Ransom said, you'll have to go back to front squad.
No, first squad already had the matter. They have it.
And no feedback?
Them and Granny have it.
No
Them and
feedback?
Granny have it.
No
Them and Granny
feedback?
have it. So, huh?
No feedback? No. When last you went and checked them?
I call them last week Monday, and
No,
what the
no,
officer
no.
tell. What?
Listen to me. You don't call. You don't call.
All right. When I
You
call,
go.
no, listen. When I
Listen to
call,
me.
the feedback that I
Listen to
get.
me. When you don't call, you see in these instances, you don't call. You go
Oh, okay.
up to them,
Yeah, but
you walk with a copybook or a piece of paper that you know you wouldn't throw away, and you write down the date, the time, who you spoke to, and rank. Right? And you continue doing your follow-ups, and you again you have to be careful because look at the heights, the lengths, and the depth these people going to.
this is a matter that should write the commissioner of police and still the minister at national security. This is a serious matter. This is that serious.
Right?
This is not just a man, threatening you. This show collusion that is bordering certain ministries that ministers and heads of police is in charge of. This man is not just talking about a easy corruption and somebody come dress up looking like a police. You see them in the station, hearing them. So I mean, there are people who in charge of these divisions and think these matters needs to be recorded and highlighted as what we are doing here now.
Yeah.
Steps should be taken. As did I say, you have to make sure you do your due diligence in the matter. So Candice, as I saying, we are here. We reach up to the borders at the show. I don't know what you want to say in closing. I don't know what Mr. Dyall want to say in closing. We will invite him back here again. Go ahead, Candice. The floor is all yours. So.
Lastly, I want to say thank you again to Mr. Renison and the team for having us, myself and Mr. Dyall come back on to relay his side of the story and as to what is taking place. And I even opened up the lines and I told the other party, because a lot of people would have messaged me on TikTok when the story first went viral, and they had a lot to say, right? And I even invite them because I believe one of the relatives wanted to speak with me private, and I told them no, they could come on the platform. I'd send them the numbers. They said they would come, and I was expecting them to call in and come. Well, they'll call in and say something, but they never did. Right? We did invite them. I did invite them to come on the platform. Right? So, Mr. Dyall, I wish you all the best. I wish that the Spirit of the Lord open doors for you, remove mountains, remove blockage, because you need some sort of help, right? And as I know Mr. Renson has another program, and we don't want to overstay our welcome. He did invite us to come back on at another date to be mentioned. We will do so, right? So you have anything to say, Mr. Dyall? Quickly.
Well, I just want to say thank you for hearing my story. And I just hope that it really judge somebody could advocate for me on my behalf, maybe a friend or a family, that she could hear the story and, pay her to it. And, that's all I could say. I just begging, just to go back to the court as a law-abiding citizen, because, that is my home.
All right, nice.
That is my home, right? I have a valid court order.
All right, so the show is coming to a close, and to the listening viewers, to everybody in the comment section, a pleasant good night, and it's always a privilege to be here with you guys.
Thank you.
So, till next time, guys, have a pleasant night.
Well, people, as you would have seen and hear for yourself, we would have left this story to run uninterrupted. And that goes to show the type of corruption that it have going on within Trinidad and Tobago. As I would have said, we will be inviting Mr. Dyall here on this program a second time. And we will continue to enforce what was said there in the live throughout the course of this week. If something is going on with you, your family, your friends, and this type of collusion and corruption is taking place, many of you will like the exposure. So thanks for watching. The many of you that would have comment, the many of you that would have joined us on Facebook and on YouTube and on Rumble, a matter of fact. Thanks for watching. And stay tuned. We are up next with Trinbagonians Social Talkonomics. Thanks for watching.
Have a pleasant night.
Thank you.